Hey friends, welcome back to my channel Organized with Joy, and welcome to another Thoughtful Thursday video. And today I'm kind of just pretending like it's cold outside. It's actually like 65 degrees right now here in Austin, but I'm still wearing my cozy sweater. Honestly, 65 is pretty chilly for me personally, so maybe a sweater is warranted. But anyway, let's get into the topic of the day. And the thing that I'm talking about today is maybe a little bit of a touchy subject, but I do feel like it needs to be talked about, maybe even particularly this time of year, as there are a lot of gatherings, and that is dealing with difficult relationships. I think we probably all have at least one difficult relationship in our lives. It may be someone that we really can't get out of having a relationship with. Maybe it is a family member who is just a part of your life and you need to get along with, even if you don't necessarily really get along. Or maybe it's even a friendship that you just don't want to let go of. Maybe that friend has become like family to you, or maybe it's just a long-term friendship that is meaningful to you in spite of it being a difficult friendship. So the first thing that I wanted to say regarding these difficult relationships is, one of the things that I have noticed in American culture anyway is how quick we are to just ghost people or just dump relationships because they're too difficult. So before I get into this, I just want to say how important I personally think it is to reconcile in relationships, whether it's a family member or a friend. I think it's really important to try to get along with everyone and try to reconcile difficult relationships. Maybe you don't have to be best friends or anything, but I think it's important to at least be cordial with friends and family members who are a part of your life. But what I have found with my group of friendships, I just feel very lucky to have fallen into this circle of friends that I have here in my neighborhood, because I think I have learned so much from my girlfriends about talking through issues, because it's okay to have problems, it's okay to have differences. We're really always going to have that because we're human, but I've learned from my friendships the importance of communicating through those differences and communicating through difficult times, like maybe your feelings were hurt or maybe you felt left out or whatever it might be. I have learned to really communicate through those issues instead of just ghosting someone and deciding to drop their friendship because you have a problem with them. Really talking through things first. And maybe you'll find that it is someone that you need to put distance between, and like I said, you don't have to be their best friend, but oftentimes it's just a matter of communicating your needs or your hurts or whatever's going on, and that can oftentimes reconcile the relationship and make you even maybe closer than you were before. So that is the first thing I wanted to say before I get into this. But I do want to say, I know that there are relationships, particularly with family members, who you just have to have those relationships. There's not really a way around it. And I just wanted to encourage you today to just have a different perspective on those relationships. Perhaps it is someone in your family who is toxic. And if that's the case, of course, you need to set up boundaries. I talk about this a lot on my Thoughtful Thursday videos about the importance of determining your boundaries and knowing what you can live with and what just is too much for you. So certainly you need to set boundaries with family members that are toxic or difficult to deal with. But I did want to talk about having a little bit of a different perspective on difficult relationships. I know that I've had some difficult relationships that I've had to deal with in my life, and for a while it was really hard on me. I guess maybe because I'm fourth out of 5 girls, I typically get along with most people. I don't know what it is. I think it's maybe being raised with a bunch of sisters, and just we all have different personalities, and I've kind of learned to get along with all different types of personalities. So if I ever have a friendship or a family member that I don't get along with, it is so hard for me because I just don't understand why they don't like me or why I can't get along with them. But I've learned to have a different perspective on it, recognizing that these difficult relationships can really help you to become a better person. And part of that is being the bigger person and just showing this other person love, even if they are not being kind to you or not showing you love in return. You can choose to be the bigger person and to be kind anyway. I think in general it helps you grow as a person to learn to deal with difficult situations and difficult relationships. It can help you to learn to be a better listener. It can help you to learn to hold your tongue and to not say everything you think, and to just do a lot of listening instead. But one of the things that I like to do in difficult relationships, personally, I am a Christian, and I do like to pray for those people, those difficult relationships. I think praying for others really helps you to have a different perspective on them. It really kind of helps you to put yourself in their shoes and maybe what they're experiencing and what they're feeling. A lot of times people are difficult or treat you poorly because of past trauma or past hurt in their own lives. I don't know if you've ever heard of the saying, hurt people hurt people. I think that that is such a true statement, and so it just gives you some compassion for them, recognizing why they're maybe doing what they're doing. But if you're not somebody who prays, maybe you can just send good vibes their way or just think positive thoughts about that person. There's always something positive about someone, even if you have a difficult relationship with them. I am sure you can come up with positive things about that person. Another thing you can do when you have a difficult family member or friend to deal with is to have a close group of people or a person who you can confide in, and maybe they can pray for you, or perhaps they can give you advice or just be your cheerleader on dealing with this person. And it's really good to have someone to talk through your thoughts and feelings about things. If you don't have like a specific person that you can go to, I think writing things down, journaling things is another really great way to just get your thoughts and feelings out about the relationship, and it's really good to process through that. Also, I think it is important to just prepare yourself before you are going to be in a situation where you're going to be spending time with this person. I think it can be important to prepare yourself emotionally and mentally. Just like I mentioned before, I personally choose to pray. I feel like that really centers me and just helps me to be prepared to deal with that difficult relationship. Spending some time with someone talking through it or journaling can also prepare you in advance to deal with the relationship you're going to be dealing with. Also, as I feel like I say in a lot of my videos, I think it's important to take care of your physical health. If you are physically healthy, it's a whole lot easier to deal with emotional and mental stress and fatigue and relationships. So it's just really important during that time, before and during the time spending time with difficult relationships, to make sure you're eating healthy, exercising, and drinking plenty of water, getting plenty of sleep. All of those things will help you to be physically strong, which helps you to manage the emotional and mental taxation there is when dealing with someone who is difficult. Okay, so I'm popping in here. This is actually the next day, but as I was editing, there was something that I didn't talk about that I felt was important enough to talk about that I would go ahead and add this clip the next day. I'm not a huge fan of doing this, but I did feel like this is important to talk about. When it comes to difficult relationships, I think it's really important to focus on yourself. We really cannot change other people, so it's very important to focus on your portion, what you might be contributing to the difficulties in the relationship. Pretty much always, it's not one-sided, and so to be realistic with yourself and really evaluate what you might be doing to contribute to some of the difficulties in the relationship is very important. So I just wanted to add this in here because I do find it very important to really evaluate your own actions, your own reactions and responses to people, particularly when it comes to dealing with someone who you have a difficult relationship with, because ultimately we are only responsible for ourselves. We can only be responsible for ourselves. Well, I hope this video encouraged you today. If there is someone in your life that is difficult to deal with, but yet you have to have this relationship or you want to continue to have this relationship, I hope that this video gave you some practical tips on how to deal with that and that it just encouraged you today. I always love hearing from you in the comments. If you want to share your thoughts on this topic, I would love to hear from you. If you're not yet subscribed to my channel, I would love for you to consider subscribing. Thanks, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.